Hey everyone, it's Rob from Hypop and welcome back to another video. In this one, we're unboxing and taking a closer look at two new RGB sticks by Aputure, the MT Pro, as well as the PT1c by Amaran. So I've got with me two new RGB light sticks by Aputure. One is from the Aputure brand themselves, the MT Pro. This is classified as a mini LED tube, whereas the PT1c here by Aputure's other sister brand, which is called Amaran, is more of a pixel tube. So I've got both of them here to unbox them, as well as take a closer look and compare the differences between the two. Firstly, let's jump into the MT Pro. So I have the MT Pro package here with me. This is what the retail box looks like. Let's have a look at what's inside. Firstly, you have the carry case. This carry case is a neat padded case. It's good to see that there's a bag that's included. And on the inside, we have the MT Pro light stick itself, as well as a tripod. It also has a 1/4 inch thread. You also have a USB Type A to Type C cable and a detachable elastic grid for the light. So I have the MT Pro set up on the tripod that's included here. So it's a nifty little tripod, obviously, that allows you to position the light where you need it. It has a 1/4 inch thread on the bottom here, as well as on the side. So you have two mounting options, whether that be vertical or horizontal. Now, if you're familiar with Aputure's range of compact lights, they do have the ALMC, which is a popular RGBWW panel. They also have the new MC Pro. And this is the first sort of compact LED tube that's RGBWW that Aputure has released. Like with all the other previous lights, you do have the compatibility with Aputure's Sidus Link app that allows you to control groups of lights or individual lights via an app that you can use on your smartphone device or on a tablet. The difference with this one here is that it has the Lumen radio technology that allows you to operate it via wireless DMX, which is useful, especially if you're using these as accent lights. You're using them as practical lights perhaps, and you're positioning them around as part of your lighting setup. So it's a great little compact light similar to the ALMC that was used. It was able to be positioned where you needed to as part of a larger lighting setup. This is exactly what the MT Pro is catering to, besides the difference in the shape. Now, jumping into the specs, this light here has a color temperature range between 2000 Kelvin to 10,000 Kelvin, which is really impressive. It has its highest output at 6500 Kelvin, which is approximately 167 lux at a meter. And it really isn't one of those lights that you'll be using as a key light or a main light or anything. It definitely is more of a practical light or a creative light that you'd be using, since it does have those RGBWW features. It has a CRI rating of 95 and a TLCI rating of 98. You have full dimming from 0 to 100% on the light, and you also have a Bluetooth wireless range of up to 80 meters via the app. The light itself weighs approximately 391 grams, so it's quite lightweight there, easy to take with you in your bag, or it's easy to pack away in your kit. And its measurements are about 30 centimeters in length or height and about 4 centimeters wide. So it is a compact LED tube. Aputure do have larger light tubes in their range, including the T2C as well as a T4C, which have detachable batteries. But the difference here with the MT Pro is that it's an internal battery that's charged via the USB Type C with the cable provided. Just like all of Aputure's other practical and creative lights, it does have its usability features. So obviously, being a light tube, you're able to position this in more narrower spaces. You also have the ability to control it RGBWW, so a full color spectrum on this light too. Now, looking at the onboard features, the light itself is actually quite sturdy. It has an aluminium casing on the back here, besides the diffusion sort of plastic panel on the front here. The light emits from the front, and it has a 36 pixel array for the RGB lights there. And as mentioned previously, you have mounting points of a 1/4 inch thread there that are reinforced with some hex screws there. on the bottom, as well as one at the bottom here where the tripod is attached. Now the light is also magnetic from these two magnetic points here, so you're able to position these on, say, a bar or a stand and prop it up high. So that's a really neat feature to have. And the onboard controls here, you can see there's the menu button as well as a back button, and you have a little dial here which we'll go through shortly. You have the on-off switch as well as the USB Type-C charging port. And of course, you've got that LED display there. So let's turn this on and have a quick look at the features. So I have this mounted horizontally now, and let's turn this on just to have a look at the operations. And as soon as you turn it on, you have a little RGB light pattern that plays on the front of the light there, which is cool, as well as a little pink cycling light that just indicates the light's on currently. And you have the option of using the onboard controls as well as the Sidus Link app, or as mentioned previously via that Lumen Radio CRMX technology, which gives you wireless DMX. Now, looking at the controls, you have the menu button as well as the back, and then the little scroll wheel here. And the scroll wheel on the first page here allows you to select the pixel intensity. So currently you can select the intensity and cycle via 1% increments, or fast cycle to a certain percentage you want. And you also have the background intensity, so you can also control that via 1% increments or cycle through, as well as selecting a small size pixel, a medium size pixel, or a large size pixel. So if I flick this around, you'll be able to see this clearly. So cycling through the medium size or a larger size pixel there. So you can see the actual pixel that's cycling around gets larger in size depending on the size that you're after. And from here, you also have a one-way or a two-way that you can select. So you can see there's a two-way pixel that changes, so you can interact. So right now it's currently on a pink and a green. So I'm not sure if you can see that closely there. So you can cycle it either one way or two way, and you can select the hue of each of those pixels that are moving currently. So if you wanted to, say, change the colors, you have the 360-degree hue that you can go through and select the color of pixel 1 as well as pixel 2. So we'll take a closer look at that there. So you see pixel 1, pixel 2 has two different ones at 240 degrees and one's at 120. And you have the background that you can leave as black, or you can change that to a CCT range as well, which gives you a completely different look here. Rather than a black, you've got the background of a particular color temp, which is really cool. It does these really cool lighting effects with this bouncing pixel. So from there, you can also select the speed. So the speed will determine how fast these pixels are moving, obviously, and you can have them really slow here. So you can see it's actually moving quite slowly as I've set this to a slower pace, and it's cycling through all those, the two pixels that I've initially selected plus the background color that I've selected too. And you can change this. It's measured at centimeters per second. So you can go from 1 centimeter per second all the way up to, basically it looks like we can go as fast as we want here. I'm all the way at 527, and that's becoming quite fast in terms of its speed, the cycling speed. So yeah, a lot of configuration there. And you also have different moving patterns, whether that's a cross move or looks like more of a fixed position there for the moving pattern. And you have play, pause, and stop in terms of the pattern that you're wanting to play. And there's quite a few different options here. So you can see you have color fades, color cycles, type of pixels, 1 pixel chase, 2 pixel chase, 3 pixel chase. You've got rainbow, pixel fire. These are all the different effects that you can have access to with an RGB pixel tube, just like this. So it is quite an advanced creative light or an accent light. It's one of those really useful things to have as part of your lighting kit. And of course, these are all the effects, the system effects. You also have pixel effects that you can go through. System effects, which are just your basic ones like TV or lightning, pulsing, cop car, that sort of thing. And just jumping into the standard settings here, you can see that it obviously has all of the features that you'd have from a typical light, such as a CCT light. And you've got the CCT rating here, which was from 2000 to 10,000 Kelvin. So all the way there, 2000, which is quite orange, as you can see. All the way up to 10,000, which is quite blue there as well. And you also have the green magenta shift that you can adjust to match some lights if you need to. You have the HSI, which allows you to select the hue, saturation, and intensity. And also RGB. So if you have particular RGB values you need to match up to, then you can use the RGB function there. Now, the great thing about this light here is obviously you can control it via the Sidus Link app. So if you have these positioned in big areas, or have it positioned propped up high somewhere, you can connect up to your Sidus Link. And from here, all you need to do is create a scene and then add a fixture, and you can see straight away it's found the MT Pro, and you click setup. And this now will add it to the scene and will allow me to control it wirelessly via Bluetooth with the app, which is that 80-meter range. And there we go. So I've jumped into the MT, and it's probably easier to jump into some of these features in the app, as they're all sort of a little bit more user-friendly here rather than having to fiddle around with the buttons and dials there. So for example, if I just wanted to jump into like HSI mode, it's much easier here. There's some presets for particular colors, for like a blue or an orange or a purple. And you've got the RGB as well, which shows the different RGB values. You can control the intensity here with the sliders. You can also have a picker. So it will let me access the picker via the camera. So for example, if I wanted to get this red color here on the tripod, I can get it to pick up that red and it will match it. And that's the red there that it's matched to, which is perfect. So you can see it almost pretty much looks the same there. It has cool little features like this. And of course you have the standard CCT as well. So instead of jumping through the different types of menu options here, you can just go through the different tabs. So I was just in the RGB, but now I'm straight away in CCT, and I want a preset of 5600 Kelvin, bam, it's straight to 5600 Kelvin. So a lot easier to use with the Sidus Link app. Another quick thing that we'll look at is just the grid here that comes with it. So it has two elastic parts here that you can just slide on over the MT Pro there, and it's a nice and quick attachment to the light. You can see there what it will do is really narrow down the light. So if you don't want the RGB light to spread, or if you want any of the light to spread at all, you'd be using this grid here. And there's no diffusion on the front there because the light itself isn't a large light, therefore it's not too strong. And if you were to diffuse it, you'd probably be reducing the intensity of the light even further, which wouldn't be ideal. You do have obviously the front panel there, which is the diffusion front here, that already helps further diffuse that light. But as you can see, the light itself is really handy. It comes with the accessories that you need just to use as an accent light. It pairs up with the Sidus Link app, as well as any lighting configuration that you have with Aputure. So if you're already invested in the Aputure system, it's perfect for that. But now what we want to do is compare it to the new Amaran PT1c. Now, the PT1c comes in three variants. You've got the PT1c, which is 30 centimeters. You've got the PT2c, which is 60 centimeters. You've got the PT4c, which is 120 centimeters. And the whole idea of the Amaran brand by Aputure is that it's more catered to the content creator market. So as you can see with this device here, it's called the MT Pro, and it really still has the Aputure branding. So it's really catered to, I guess, that market that's already using a lot of their pro lights, like the Lightstorms or the Novas, and you'll be adding this as part of, say, the B7C or the MC or the MC Pro that you already have. However, the Amaran has a completely new range from Aputure that's catered to the content creators, a little bit more affordable. And that's why we wanted to compare these two here. So let's open up and see what's included in this PT1c. On the back here, it really says, take your content creation to the next level with a rainbow of pixel effects. So it's really similar to the MT Pro. It has the pixel effects too. However, what we'll probably see are that there are less inclusions. So let's open this up. Packaging is really nice. They've got these little pull tabs now that make it nice and easy to open up the box. You've got the PT1c here, nice little tube, and the design itself is white too, and it's more of a tube design rather than, I guess, a pixel bar and LED tube design there with a flat back like the MT Pro. So you've got the tube, and on the inside here, you have an Amaran carry pouch, which is nice. So that means you can store this away, avoid any scratches or anything on the actual light tube. And you also have a charging cable. So this is a USB type A to type C. So you can see that there are less accessories, I guess, that are included with the PT1c as compared to the MT Pro. The MT Pro has the case and the grid as well as the tripod, so that does warrant the difference in terms of the price point. The light build quality itself is more of a plastic design, I guess. These rings around the ends here are plastic. The back here is plastic, and of course the tube diffusion panel here, which is kind of like a one-piece design, is all plastic. You still have the mounting point there, which is a 1/4 inch thread on both sides. And you do have the magnetic points here, so you can mount this directly to anything that's metal. So you can attach this to, say, a panel at the top or a stand or something, which will be useful. It does have the internal lithium-ion battery, which is only 2600 milliamps as compared to the MT Pro's 4600 milliamps. And the light itself looks a little bit more basic in terms of the functions. So you've got the on-off button here, which when you turn it on, it does have that pixel tube kind of look. LCD is kind of a little bit more basic, so it doesn't really go through too many features. It's kind of got the battery indicator at the top, which shows you how much life you've got. And you got the up and down buttons that lets you cycle through different types of settings. And you got the menu button there, which is just the 3 lines that lets you go through to the different pixel effects you have. You also have just the standard CCT, HSI, as well as the system effects and pixel effects. There's no RGB functionality, so you'll have to go via the HSI. And in the main menu, you've just got the light mode, the BT settings, the DMX settings, and system settings. So you do have DMX settings here. Let's have a look at those. However, this is just via the standard DMX address and DMX profiles as well. So you won't be using the wireless DMX Lumen radio technology like you would with the MT Pro. So they are quite similar. You can tell in terms of the size, they're both about 30 centimeters. However, in terms of the price point, the PT1c retails here in Australia at about 235 Australian dollars as compared to the MT Pro, which is roughly about $350. So you do have a bit of a jump there, so about $100 or so in terms of the price point difference. So it really does come to your decision on warranting if the added features as well as the accessories more suitable in the MT Pro. I mean, the carry case is nice, the tripod and the grid's nice, so having the versatility of those accessories with the MT Pro, in my opinion, does warrant it. The buttons themselves are a little bit fiddly to sort of touch and control, and the screen's not as big, so I guess in some ways the user interface is less user-friendly. You do have that USB Type-C charging port there to charge up that battery. But let's jump into the Sidus Link app here. So really similar in the way to control the PT1c as to the MT Pro. You have the ability to change the color temp from 2700 Kelvin to 10,000 Kelvin there. So you're losing about 700 Kelvin or so on the warmer tones there. You still have the ability to change the green magenta shift. And you only have the HSI mode here, whereas the MT Pro allowed you to use the RGB mode too. You can put the RGB values in. However, you do have the presets from the HSI. You can obviously put in the hue that you want out of the 360-degree options there, change the intensity. You also have that picker function. So for example, if I wanted to get the red from this aperture, do that really quickly. There we go, it's now changed to the red there, so really similar with that regard. And you do have obviously all the pixel effects too. So let's go with an a green color there, we'll confirm that, and then we'll get a blue perhaps, cross color, and we can increase the speed, and it can probably play that, and you can see I've got the pixel effects there. So really cool pixel features, still catered to the content creator market with the PT1c. So that was our unboxing and quick review and comparison of Aputure's new RGBWW tubes, the Aputure MT Pro and the Amaran PT1c. Both of these lights are really similar in terms of features, however they are catered to different markets. So the MT Pro catered more to perhaps the professionals that are using some of the pro aperture lights like the Lightstorms and the Novas, and the Amaran catered more to the content creators that are using the Amaran 100Xs or the COB60D or the P60 panels, etc. They both have their features, but it allows you that sort of entry point into the RGBWW pixel tubes. With all those cool pixel features, you have the wireless control via the Sidus Link app. So in our opinion, really some practical and creative lights that can add to your lighting game. So for more videos just like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be updated of any new content we release. Leave a like on the video if it's helped you. Feel free to leave down in the comments section below your thoughts, or if you have any questions about the MT Pro or the PT1c. Follow us on socials, the links are down below, and visit our website, hypop.com.au. Thanks for watching.